having a great time? Fantastic. So, real quick, as a courtesy to the guests and the panelists, please make sure your cell phones are on silent or vibrate. And also, just to make sure you're in the right room, who here loves The Walking Dead? Now, who loves talking about The Walking Dead with others who love The Walking Dead? Okay, awesome. Let's meet our panelists.
I'm Brian. Thank you. Did you hear me out there?
Yeah,
Rick. I'm Brian Korzik. Carl. I cosplay Rick Ryan.
Hello, I'm Joshua Dwyer. I don't know, who am I cosplaying? I'm cosplaying Daryl Dixon. This is awesome.
I'm Ben Dwyer, my little brother. I'm cosplaying Abraham Ford, Sergeant Abraham Ford. Even though we're not necessarily looks like him, but
I'm Kaylee J, and I'm cosplaying as Rosita. My name is Bree Gonzalez Reynolds, and I cosplay Maggie Green.
Alright, we'll do a quick introduction of all our other, because we're a ginormous group. It's not just about us, obviously. You can see them up here. So if everyone wants to really quickly go down the lines and introduce who you are and who you're cosplaying.
I'm Luke, and I'm cosplaying as Carl because everybody loves my dog.
You can stand when you introduce yourself.
That's better, right?
Because they can see that.
Yeah.
I'm Terry Fine. I play Terminus Mary. I'll make you explain.
I'm Seth Watts. I play Dale.
I'm gay. I'm playing Bob as alcoholic.
I'm Jason J. I'm playing as Philip Blake. Also, you guys know me as.
You die.
Hi, I'm Andrew Josh Reynolds, and I'm playing as Eugene, and I will get
My name is Jay Washington. I play Michonne, and I like Stephanie. I'm not supposed to smile. I'm Penny J, and I cosplay Carol. Just look at the flowers.
Hi, I'm Kendall Northrup, and I'm cosplaying as Andrea, and throughout the series, I become more and more of a badass.
My name is Melissa. I'm the greatest mom in the world. I'm playing Lori Grimes.
Carl's in the house, right?
He's right there. I tell you not to keep my side today.
What are we doing next?
So you guys all fight, right?
Amongst each other or with
No,
zombies?
I think you guys. Oh, I was going to say most of us are siblings, so yeah, there's
definitely
fights.
fighting.
Is that Bailey?
Well, we've got a couple of groups here. So we've got family
Oh, yeah, we got
groups.
brothers. Yeah, brothers. I'm Jason. That was. Anyone want to lead us around? So this is our first panel. So we're new with this.
Well, since it started as a comic, maybe we should start
Want to do
there.
that? Comics. Talk about the differences and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Benjamin.
Right. How many people here have read the comics?
Yeah.
Okay, good, because we've read them at different levels. Some through, I'm about 2/3 of the way through the first compendium. And so, this isn't all on us. We're all here to talk about The Walking Dead, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's right. This is not a democracy. Let's skip that.
Alright.
Sophia.
Yeah, so there's some differences about the characters.
Oh, right.
So there will be spoilers, obviously.
Yeah.
If you haven't read the comic books.
Yes, lots of them.
Alright.
Same with the TV show. If you haven't seen through the end of season 4, there's lots of spoilers.
So what do we know about Sophia? In the show,
In the show, they kill her off pretty quick.
Second season, yeah.
Second season. But in the comic book, they actually swap her death and Carol's death. Carol actually kills herself in the prison yard. Because in the comic books, everything moves at a much faster pace. Whereas in the show, they're out on the road a lot longer, and they're kind of watching the walkers and like learning their habits and what they do. But in the comic book, they have no idea what these things are still. So they actually capture one and tie it up in the prison yard. And Carol, after having asked Rick and Lori for a threesome that they very quickly, said no to, she actually walks out and basically feeds herself to the locker, and she rips her throat out. Whereas in the television show, that's Sophia's fate.
don't spoil it for me.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Well, there you go. Spoiler one.
Dale. And we happen to have Dale with us today.
The library.
The main characters are very different in the comics.
Massive difference.
And in fact,
Go ahead.
no, go ahead.
I was going to say he's more of the Herschel character now. The Herschel's in the show, he's like the mentor and the father figure for the grandfather figure for most people. It was pretty much Dale in the comic books. And then he his ass. But in the show,
In the show, he gets
ripped apart.
quickly.
Carl did that.
It's all your fault.
And in the show, he even has a relationship with Andre.
Well, in the
Well, the
show,
comic book.
in the comic book, him and Andrea are in a relationship, but in the comic book, the age difference is a lot less. Like, he seems like he's probably in his late 40s, early 50s, and she's probably late 20s, early 30s. Like, they're a lot older than they seem, and the age gap is a lot smaller.
Yeah.
But in the show, he has a relationship with them as more of a father figure because they never made it home to see their parents before this all happened, so he kind of takes on that role for them.
Does anybody want to add anything? Right. Herschel. We are trying to get somebody to cosplay Herschel. You know how hard that is?
He's another one who's vastly different from the show to the comic
Really
books.
is, yeah.
Very different.
Same one.
Yeah, you definitely got those.
Well, there's similarities. Like in the TV show, he's very, it's my farm. I want to protect my family. We're still safe here. If you come here, you're going to bring bad things, which eventually they do. But he's the same way in the comic book, but he's a lot harsher. And there's more kids in the comic book, so he's more protective of them, and he's a lot meaner to Rick's group than he is in the TV show. In the TV show, he eventually accepts them, but in the comic book, it's kind of like they're kind of stuck together.
So in the comics, he's Herschel. He was a great character in the show. How many people were sorry to see him go? Who wasn't?
Seven governors.
So what character are we most to?
I felt more bad. You don't want to upset her. She's still pregnant.
Ouch.
So how many people were happy to see Lori go on the show? It was just kind of dragging on, wasn't it? Yeah.
I felt sorry for Rick more.
Yeah.
I felt sorry for Rick more than her.
Well, you want her to die so bad in the series, and then when she does die, and you see Rick's reaction, then you're like, oh, why did she want to die? Like, you have to keep it.
But it's good show. He's ready for it. Good character development.
Well, I think a lot of people don't really understand the character of Lori. There was an interview that I watched at one point, and she says that after Rick says to her that he killed Shane, he said that he wanted to, and that's when she freaks out because that wasn't what she wanted him to do because.
She tells him to in the
Well, yeah,
She told
for
him
the
to.
safety of the group, though. But she didn't want him to want to kill him.
Well, in the TV show, she almost like in a backwards way says that like if he was gone, things wouldn't be bad. And I think Rick in the show they make it seem like killing him is the only answer. But then in the comic book, she basically is like, go kill him, and then he does, and she's like, how could you? How dare you
He
listen to me?
says that he wanted him dead.
Yeah. He wanted him gone in a permanent way.
Yeah, she was afraid that he would turn him instead of just solving the problem.
Without Lori, Rick and Shane would have been fine. We never would have had an issue.
Yep.
She was
True.
Girls are trouble.
He's right in there.
That's true.
Well,
Well, what is it?
Carl, shoot him off.
Kill my best friend for you.
That's why he's not here.
Actually, in the comics, Carl killed Shane.
Yeah, that's correct. That's the thing. They flipped it. In the show, you have, Rick stabbed Shane and then Carl shot zombie Shane. But in the comic book, Carl shot Shane. Shot him, like let the throat or something like that. He bled out like that. And then later on, they buried him. And then once they found out that everybody turns, Rick went back to where he was buried and dug him up and put him under the misery. So vastly different in the comic. Just kind of flipped it. Cool. Exactly.
Oh, my brother. Oh, no.
Make that face. Make the face.
I don't know if I can do that now, right? I just did it. Did I do it? You're my brother now.
So Ben, different.
I think it's been a little while since I've read the comic. I think Ben is actually the name of one of the twin boys.
He's
the
one of the
Lost the parents.
Yeah.
What I like about the show versus the comics is they keep a lot of the same character names or personalities or deaths, and they give them to characters that otherwise, if you hadn't read the comics, would be just randoms to you.
Right.
Lizzie.
Like Ben, I know in the comic book, it's Ben and what's his little brother?
Billy.
Billy.
Billy, right, thank you.
They
It's
need
Ben and
Ben.
Billy. And Ben kills Billy. Like in the show, how Lizzie kills Billy.
Lizzie Mika.
Just flipped it and took it from one character to the other one.
Right. That's what I liked about it was that they had, and they were in the comic book they're twins. They're the same age. They have the same, I would assume mostly the same mental development, like especially growing up in that world.
Yeah, they're both killing animals and stuff.
Yeah, but in the show they have two girls, and one's the older sister and the younger sister is kind of a protector versus the protected, in a sense. And instead of protecting her, she waits for her to come back as a walker.
Yeah.
And these are the boys that Dale and Andrea start to raise.
Yeah, they start getting
After their parents are eaten. Actually, the twin boy's father is the first one that gets his leg cut off after he gets bit, but they can't save him. So of course they give it to someone else.
Yeah.
But
They don't think about it. They don't even know.
well, they don't do it to Dale.
Dale got eaten.
Yes, they do.
No,
When the incidents and the cannibals happen, Dale loses his leg.
Right, yeah, I was thinking, fine.
Well, he actually, spoiler for those of you who haven't read it, the reason the hunters catch him is because he got bit and he's wandering off into the woods basically to die alone. And they end up taking him and eating his leg. So, and then they give him back after they find out he's been bitten. So,
Delicious zombie flesh.
or they use it to set a trap to get the rest of the group to come outside so they can have a buffet.
Terminus people.
Termites.
That's awesome.
So we'll talk about it.
I was really upset with the way they changed her in the TV show.
Just kind
So
of
upset.
ruined her character. Everybody knows her in the comic book, she is
She's
awesome.
badass.
She's wicked cool.
Her death seemed so stupid.
It was stupid. We actually tried. We sat there and tried to pick up flowers with our feet, and it took us like 10 seconds.
It's not hard.
So the guy's going to turn into a locker, but she's going to stop and have a conversation.
I know, right?
It was pretty bad. It was just an easy way to kill off the character.
of that. It's going to be that.
Oh yeah, I remember that video was amazing. Did they have that?
I hope so.
If that's not there,
Who felt bad when Otis went down in the show? Felt you need Shane a little bit more.
Oh, yeah. Where's she got?
Otis actually makes it to the prison. He doesn't die in high school. He makes it to the prison. Him and Patricia both do.
Yeah. And then when Rick gets back from Woodbury,
Yeah,
one of the
that.
first walkers he sees is Otis.
Yeah. Otis dies in 10 seconds, like off screen. Anyway, say something. No?
You have something to say.
A lot of people don't know that Otis was the one who put Sophia in the barn. The people who put Sophia in the barn, put Sophia in the barn. It was Otis, and then he died. So nobody knew. I just wondered.
Nice. Thank you.
Tyrese.
Tyrese.
Favorite character in the comic.
See? He's a good character, Tom. He's cool in the show, but kind of baby sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a lot easier to set off in the comic books. He's much more quick to anger than he is in the TV show.
Well, he's an ex-football player in the
He's
comics.
an ex-NFL in the
So he's a
comics.
big guy. When I see this guy, he's probably a big guy too, but I don't think of a football player.
I always thought of it always reminds me of The Rock when I saw him in the comic books. He looked like a black rock. He did.
Yeah.
But
Like her.
I'm so sorry to disappoint you.
But in the comic book, he is the one that took out all the zombies in one room.
In the gym.
he's not in the gym where the TV show is in the series. Or on the other side of the road.
Yeah.
Right.
He actually, too, in the comics, is the one that has it. He's beheaded by the governor, not Herschel.
Yeah, that's what
But
another spoiler.
yeah, I actually, that was one of the, I was sad to see Herschel go, but that was one of the swaps I actually liked.
Yeah.
Because if you look at Herschel's face, well, to go back to Herschel, but if you look at Herschel's face in his death in the comics, where he dies in the shootout at the prison, and he's actually shot, he begs for death because all his kids are dead. Spoiler. Whereas in the TV show, he's not crying, he's not begging for his life, he's not even trying to get away. He's just he's at peace because he knows that if they have to leave the prison, he's not going to make it. So he'd rather die for a cause than.
Well, he sees that Rick is coming back also.
Exactly.
His friend Rick going psycho.
Cuckoo.
Yeah.
And in the show, they have his sister. What's her name?
Sasha. Or in the
comic.
No, it's his daughter.
and her boyfriend.
And her boyfriend.
Chris and Julia.
Yeah.
I always thought it was sort of a different situation in the comics versus the show. Because in the show, it didn't really introduce Tyrese as much as it did in the comic. So the impact wasn't as well in the show of Tyrese as compared to in the comic of Tyrese died. So I guess that's probably why they did that as well.
What is... You guys hearing that?
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I don't know. I don't know. Like, is it too many mics, maybe?
Turn my mic off.
I thought I was doing it, so I'm like,
Can you hear me without the mic?
yeah.
Sure.
So yeah, it was his daughter and her boyfriend. And what Tyrese didn't know was that they had a suicide pact, which she followed through on.
And he did not.
He did not.
Not so much.
So
But
Tyrese killed him.
Tyrese helped him out.
And then he killed him again. Well, I actually agree with a lot of what he did. It's hard to say that because you can understand. Yeah, you can understand it because it was. What is it? What? Oh, it is. Because
You can understand why he did what he did.
yeah, it was for the betterment of the group, right? Yeah. It was just a different time.
That, and if he hadn't opened the barn in the show and everything, then they would have probably lost more people looking for Sophia, and they probably would have spent even more time with the farm. And I don't know about anyone else, but I thought season 2 was so slow.
A little bit slow.
But I think in the TV show, or I felt he wasn't doing it for the girl. I felt like he was mostly doing it so he can have Lori and get her from there. I think he was also doing it off himself.
So you felt that Shane was doing it for himself to have Lori.
down, you're probably going to get picked off one by one. So, don't have to be fast, you just have to be faster than you.
The thing about that is Shane's kind of like a bit of a... You can't just be like, oh, well, I'm going to be selfish now because the world's ending, because Lori clearly doesn't want him anymore. He can't get the memo, so he's still pretty much a douchebag.
Shane had it tough, you know. He had it all before Rick came back, right?
I feel like he almost on a level 1 in her edge. He really is. Stole Rick's life.
What is it? He was pointing his gun at Rick at one point, wasn't he?
Yeah, when they were
Very first season.
Dale catches him.
Scary.
Dale.
Yeah, Dale.
Well, it almost this is not a question, it's an observation. With Lori in the TV show, she didn't even wait until it was only a few months. She only waited 2 months and then she went with Shane like that.
In the comic book, it's that night.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
But Shane lasts a few pages in the comic book.
It almost elusives like a previous romance or like a longing for each other, because in the show, even in the comics too, Lori talks about how she thinks their marriage is failing and how she thinks, they're not doing what they should be and they're only together because of Carl and all that. So it makes you think that maybe there is or was something between these two women.
Even in the first episode, when he's talking to Shane, when Rick and Shane are talking in the car, go ahead, say what you want to say.
No, we're all fans here. Go ahead.
You know, Rick's talking about how their marriage is distant, and she wants him to come out more, and Shane is, you can see he's feeding on that. You know, that's his end, right?
Shane's taking Lori's side, which is obvious that they're already talking or doing other things. So, just the fact that, I mean, he's your boy, your friend, your best friend, and he's taking the wife's side, whereas if he was really, truly his friend, he'd be like, yes, you know, screw her or whatever, but work it out. But
I don't really think that they actually got together. Maybe they got some glances and stuff, but I don't really think that they worked together, because the moment that Rick came back is the moment he knew that those two were together for a while. So he knew the moment he saw them looking.
They were a little too close.
He just wanted somebody that would turn the light switch off, right?
Well, you know in the show that Shane had already wanted her. That's why he just put the door up against it, told Lori that he was dead. So right off the bat, you know he wanted to be with Lori. So the whole time, even when they were alive, you know, he had, if there was a way he could have had her, he probably would, or him, he probably would have.
I think he probably, in the beginning, like when they did the flashback and he saw like the zombies coming and they were just like slaughtering people, he was like, oh, well, I will try to kind of keep him in there, but he's pretty much dead. So when he went back to Lori, he was probably like, she's dead. I think he's not going to go into detail. They're slaughtering people at the hospital, and I locked him in a room. But like, I think he was jealous of what Rick had and the family that he had and the kids he had. So when that happened, he was like, well, he kind of maybe died. I'll just take care of his family right now. That's fine. I'll take care of them. So he thought maybe he was like being a good guy, but it was more of like, oh, it can be for me now because I can take care of them and I can get what he had. So he's like kind of a good guy, but he's still a douchebag. I think the reason they make a point of showing you the flashback of him putting the hospital bed in front of the door and closing and making sure the door's closed and all that is because in the comic book, I believe Shane is partially responsible for the reason why Rick gets shot because he doesn't notice the third guy in the car, and that's kind of his job as deputy or whatever his partner. Yeah, he didn't want to be responsible for him he wanted him to be dead, but he didn't want to be responsible for him dying again.
So he could die on his own.
Yes. Yeah. See, like, I thought that, like, Shane and Lori, like, they needed comfort, and they both were in pain, so they connected. That's why they got together. What? Well, then, yeah. Well, that's when she was refusing to be with him. And he was also probably vastly drunk. Yeah.
I've never read the comics, so I'm just wondering, does Lori have any redeeming qualities whatsoever?
She has really nice hair.
comic hated her as much as
No, you don't like her because she's essentially she's wishy-washy. Yeah, like she's very. I'm gonna stick with Shane, and then Rick comes back. I mean, obviously she's gonna go with Rick, and then she's with Rick, and she's like, kill Shane, and then she's like, why would you do that? She almost can't decide. Well, yeah, kind of. She almost can't decide what she wants anymore. But I mean, she's a better mom in the comics.
No, because
You've been very patient.
Doesn't Shane try to kill Rick again? Like when they're going on a run somewhere and then he's saying something there.
When they're going to drop off Randall, he does.
But when they go off, we're the giant walker fell in the dumpster over Rick. That's it. That's the episode we're talking about. And, yeah, in the bus. Where Shane tries to kill.
Well, Rick almost leaves Shane. Rick, yeah. He's ready to take off and leave it.
So they're going back and forth.
Isn't that when he threw that thing through the window and all the zombies?
Yeah, but he comes after him with a wrench or a monkey wrench or pipe or something, and when he goes to hit it, Rick like moves or something. I don't remember what he did, but he throws it through a window, and all these walkers start coming out. So.
It's all about who's the alpha.
Exactly, they're fighting to be the leader.
Yeah, I think Dale, during one point of the show, because he was always analyzing everybody, and he was kind of like the psychologist of the group in a sense. He noticed how, and he kept berating Shane about everything he was doing. He said that Shane was built for this kind of world, and it's kind of like making Rick and Shane the opposites of that. Rick was, hope. He's the chance to change the world back to how it was, and Shane was the voice. If everyone was like him, they could survive well, but the world wouldn't change. So that's kind of how Shane was useful in a sense. But is that really good? Because it's kind of hopeless. But I think that's one of the biggest, descriptors made of Shane, or that Dale was looking at him straight up. It's like I know what kind of man you are.
Yeah, I think a big question out there is what's to become of humanity?
I was going to say, I think that's sort of the fundamental question that keeps coming up over and over again each season in new ways, is that line between the way things used to be and our humanity and our sense of community and, it's the humans against the zombies versus, no, it really is, anarchy now and it's every man for himself and we have to do things we wouldn't normally do. And we saw that played out, obviously, in the relationship between Rick and Shane, and then we saw it again in the relationship between Rick and Carl. That, as they sort of traveled that path, it was first like this power struggle in these two men, and then it was, well, what do you do with a kid who's raised in this world? And now we're starting to see it with Carol, a woman who was a victim who's finding her power and learning how to survive. And it's made the question over and over again with no writing.
And then you have to wonder about Rick.
Yep.
Where is he headed?
Well, and he's had that struggle with himself and got back and forth.
I like how they kind of bring into context a couple different thoughts within there. The zombies that they were human at one time. That a lot of times you tend to forget that these were somebody's brother, sister, child, and even though they're zombies, you still have that love for them even though they're gone. So like when they come to that point, he's beating the zombie and he's enjoying it. She kind of steps back and say, hey, that is our part of humanity too. And we have to remember that these were somebody's loved ones at one time. So I'm glad that they're kind of that in there, along with it.
Well, they kind of make a point of, in different ways every season, making that known. Like in season 4 with Lizzie, it says, well, he has a name tag on that says Nick. Season 1, when they have the trench coats on and they're covering themselves in gut, Glenn pulls out his license and says he was an organ donor.
Yeah. Like, they find a way to model when he had to kill the mother, and that whole thing that, he knew he had to do it, but it was so hard.
Or even, also with Herschel keeping the people in the barn and the governor keeping his daughter.
Right.
They weren't ready to let go that they were the people that they had known. Because Herschel says, these people were my neighbors. It's my wife, it's my stepson. Like, see, I like that they make a point of that because there is such a blurred line anymore between humanity and utter chaos.
The show dedicates the zombies at the end of the show. They'll say, you know,
The in memoriam.
Yeah.
to the people.
Also the website, you need like the website, yeah, and also a lot of the different like walkers.
They should use
It's a lot of
stories for
walkers.
some of them.
Yeah, get that together for someone, yeah.
Yeah, like I've only watched one of them because I just recently found out that they existed. But I watched the one with the bicycle walker. The first one, and the reason she turns into the walker is because she basically tries to save her kids, and she ends up getting bit saving them. So
That's a bummer.
It makes you care more about her in episode 1 knowing that backstory, doesn't it?
if you give them a backstory, they're not just this pile of goo with teeth.
Right.
They were a purpose. They were somebody.
Or the hospital, the don't open dead inside, who wrote that on the door. That was awesome.
Last
I love that.
That was crazy.
You guys know who was it?
Yeah.
They're awesome.
I thought it was really interesting too that there was sort of that ongoing conversation between Rick and Herschel about these are people, these are not people, right? And that as an audience member, you sort of think, well, clearly they're not people anymore. Like, get over yourself, Herschel, stop doing your dead around. Until Sophia comes out of the barn, and then like that, and then every one of the people that we know are survivors can't do it other than Rick, right? They can't put her down, and as an audience member, we don't know if we want them to. And like all of a sudden, it's that realization. We know that that's one of ours. Right?
Well, that also it kind of goes with what Rick said. We bury our own and burn the rest.
Right.
Like,
they're not people because we know them.
Yeah.
They are.
But we don't. And you, Daryl.
This is getting on. I just want like
You killed Dale. You say, I'm going to be all
it's his starring brother and shoots him in the face.
Yeah. Terrible. Hadn't done right.
Even though everybody hated season 2 and I didn't like it either, but I thought it was a lot of good for character development. Because you had Herschel with his viewpoint on the world, how it was today. Then you had Rick's, and then you had Shane, and you had like Dale. And they all kind of had a varying viewpoint on what life was around. Shane was obviously a survivor, do whatever she wrote. Oh, this, she got to live. That's the end of the story. Herschel wanted it to go back the way it was. Rick was trying to make it so that he was okay with how he had to survive. He was always one with the personal moral standards. And I think Dale honestly had probably the most realistic view of how the world was and how it is, and probably it is in the direction it should have gone. That's why I was kind of upset with that one of my favorites. But I thought season 2 was good for the whole character development, although it was kind of boring in the whole. Most people didn't like it. It wasn't as
Like on the farm. I feel like Shane and Dale were two opposite ends of the spectrum. Dale was he was very realistic about how it was, but he wasn't quite ready to deal with how it is. And Shane was just nuts. Totally nuts.
Yes, I'm back.
I feel like he was. I never knew about the comics, so I just watched the show, and he was one of my favorite characters. And family didn't understand why. And I feel like he was just so misunderstood, and he's the fall guy a lot, or a lot of things. But as the episodes and the seasons have been going on, and now that he's gone, I'm starting to see kind of some irony in the fact of the whole we need to survive, and we need to do what we need to do, and there isn't much hope. And all of them are starting to lose hope. They're losing their family members, and they're losing all of these things because they didn't necessarily have that survival mentality. And they brought all these people in, and they trusted all these people. And I kind of see it as almost like that makes me feel even worse. And it makes me think of him because I feel like he wasn't right in a lot of things. And it's just kind of weird how there isn't much hope and there's a lot more horrible things going on because
It's very telling how little thought they've given to the information they gained at the CDC. They learned how the virus works, how it affects the brain, and yet for several episodes later and seasons later, they didn't seem to really give it much thought. Like, this is a very clinical, we understand how this works. And
group of heroes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look who it's composed of at that time, and I think too that in the show at least, once they met Herschel, who was a little bit more of a scientific mind, spiritual and scientific, they never even brought up the CDC stuff anymore. I don't think. Does that anybody remember any different?
I don't think that they realize that you don't have to be bit at that point. It's not until when they go into that school, I think, or something where they see a couple of police officers that had no bites on them, when they realize that when you die, that's it.
Well, Shane wasn't dead.
Right.
And so this is the episode after that where he tells the group that he should have told them.
When they're at the CDC, Jenner, there's a scene where he pulls aside and says something to Rick. And they don't tell you what he said, nothing. He tells Rick right there that he realizes that they're all infected. It's airborne or it's something, that everyone is infected. That's why when they go and they see, they're checking the security officers or whatever they are for bite marks and scratches and stuff, there aren't any. And that's when Rick kind of is like, he feels like he needs to disclose to the group and soon. And then it further proves this point when they actually kill Shane, where he stabs him and he dies and he comes back and Shane was never bit.
Right. I don't think everybody knew that. No. How that happened.
I think like Shane did the moment he killed somebody in the show. The group found a walker, like a person that Shane before he held him. Yeah. And he killed him, like just snapped his neck or whatever.
Shane didn't know yet though.
Yeah. Yeah, Daryl found out that guy had no bite marks, but he was still like a zombie. That's when they should have realized.
There was one more.
I was reading the interview with Kirkman, and he said something that he actually didn't want to focus on how he got infected. They wanted to focus on the zombie drama. And he said specifically that they're never going to find out what happened why it caused it. They want to focus on the groups, the fighting, the walkers mostly.
It puts you in the same situation as the survivors. They don't know, so you don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Who knows what you're thinking?
You walk up and you're like, I know what started all of this.
I know. Well, I don't. I'm protected.
Well, no, that guy over there does.
Oh.
We have two more comments on that.
I have a question, jumping ahead a little bit, but do you think it's too early in the television series to introduce like the Saviors or Megan or any of those characters? Do you think that's way later?
I know Kirkman has said that there's like a 99.9% chance that Negan will be in the show. He said that. So
I think it'll be more of like a second half of season 5 because I think that they're going to spend time because they're called the cannibals are called the hunters for a reason. I think they're going to get out of Terminus somehow and they're going to literally hunt them down.
Yeah.
And that'll probably take the first half of season 5.
And we'll bring in Negan. Because they've already said that this season is supposed to be the most action-packed and the most
terrifyingly
most locations. So you know the Negan storyline, there's a lot of locations, so possibly Negan. Hopefully not, but we like some of the characters.
There was another one in the back.
Me? All right. Because I agree with that Negan thing, but I feel like if they showed Negan, it probably won't be until like the last episode of season 5, like they did with Michonne in season 2.
Or how they do with the governor when he comes back.
Somewhat. I'd say it's best to show him like near the end of the season because it shows you who's going to be the next villain, which he's the most psychotic character ever.
Oh, definitely.
Because I noticed that every season I've seen, they always show like a major character and the major villain. Like season 2, they show Michonne, then they show Governor. Then this season you saw Abraham, then they showed the Terminus people. So sorry for spoilers. So there's a certain character called Jesus. If you ever seen him in the comics, yeah, Jesus. He's pretty cool. But I feel like if you see that character, then the Saviors will definitely be right.
If you see the Saviors or you see Jesus, you know Negan is coming, and a storm's coming with him.
Yeah. It's death.
Martinez.
He has a pretty gruesome death both ways.
Yeah, he has.
In the first one and the first one. In the comic book, Rick runs him down with the RV. He runs over him because he actually comes back to the prison.
Well, because he lets them free, because he acts sort of like a good guy.
Yeah.
He lets the people who are captured by Governor Woodbury, he lets them free.
kind of like a double agent.
But yeah, he's like double agent to find out what the person is.
Actually, because I just got to that part. This is the way I read it. Yeah, that he helped him escape Woodbury, and so Rick, Michonne, has been captured in Woodbury.
Glenn.
By the way, we need a Glenn if you know one. Anybody else?
Is there anyone else?
Okay. So Martinez is head of security in the comics for the fences, and he's either in denial or he has no idea what's going on, what the governor's doing. He knows about the fights, but he doesn't know that the governor's forcing people to get into them, and there's torture going on. And when he finds out, he helps Rick, Michonne, and Glenn escape. And he goes all the way back to the prison with them. But then, a couple of days go by, some stuff happens at the prison, I won't go into that.
Stuff and things.
Stuff, yeah. And Martinez was a gym teacher who had stayed with his kids as long as he could in the city. Okay, and this is his backstory in the comics. Well, he's helped Rick, get back, and then they notice that he's left the prison. And Rick's like, I shouldn't have trusted that guy. He gets in the RV, goes after him, runs him over. He's not dead.
He's not dead,
But he
so he's back
explains, he says, I wanted to go back and get the decent people of Woodbury so they could be safe in the prison. And Rick doesn't believe him, and he strangles him. So there's a darker Rick there.
The show he gets eaten by the comedies.
He's thrown to
He gets thrown to them, yeah. And then walk away like, governor, psycho.
I don't know why he would turn his back on the governor at any time.
Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. No idea.
I think they're too scared of him because the ones that are in his inner circle probably know or knew what he was doing and things like that. But I think they're either too scared of him to turn their back on him, or they felt safe. They didn't want to leave safety, and they knew that if they turned on him, then he probably came on Woodbury.
In the show, I was talking about in the show when he's all falls off the thing. He turned his back to the governor. I don't know why anybody would turn their back to the governor.
Like literally.
Like literally not figured. Okay.
Have any of you read The Walking Dead novels, The Rise of the Governor, Road to Woodbury? Like those, I think that those are really pivotal, explaining, the governor's background and why he is the way he is.
Yeah, I got about halfway through the first one.
Brother is killed himself and all that fun junk, but I think that they should have put that definitely more in the TV series to show his development and why he is so messed up the way he is.
Yeah, this is where he met the family. So this is after the governor loses Woodbury. So some of this is in the novel. And then he meets the family and, has kind of his new daughter, a new family and all that. And all that's in the novel. And then the backstory. His brother's in it. And in the show, remember when he meets this family.
And I guess they make another community with the RVs and stuff, but that was really short-lived. They just went off to their death and massacre over in the prison.
Yeah, they followed him pretty quickly.
Well, all he wanted was another army. He didn't want a family. He didn't want. He wanted that little girl. He wanted to be Eddie, and that was really it.
Good thing he died, right?
Yes. By Michonne.
So, here's a big one. What do you think happens to Daryl in the comics?
He's out there.
I actually have a theory about that. I think that he never put Geralt himself in the comic books, but Dwight seems similar in certain ways. So.
Well, Daryl definitely inspired that character of Dwight.
Yeah. I like that Daryl and Merle are separate from the comics, though.
Yeah.
I will point out that comics, for those who don't read them, do follow certain beats, and who Rick's right-hand man is an important beat to follow. He has Shane, he has Tyrese from
not good.
Well, in the comics, he loses his right hand.
This is not good with right hands.
So we've seen Rick and Daryl bond really close here without his right hand man, and it'll be interesting to see if that follows.
I don't think so. I give Daryl till Negan shows up, and then I think they're going to give big, huge spoiler to people here, but I think they're going to give Daryl Glenn's dad from the comics.
Yes,
I think that would kill anyone.
You push out like viewers right down. They're going to like with viewers because Glenn would just die.
Yeah, okay, the way I see it though is if you're going to stop completely watching a show, you like, I don't think you guys are like us, but that it's one of your favorite shows on TV. If you stop watching it because one character goes, then you're not a fan. You're not a fan. Like you are, but you're not a diehard fan. But I don't think they're going to take Glenn or Maggie in the next season just because they want you to think they're going to take her because she burns a picture. And they just took Herschel and Beth is missing, so they're not going to add anything else to that pot of sorrow.
We never know what they do to us.
Those are a last love story.
But that's why they have to break it down. It is the last one.
Last one.
Well, that's what I feel like too, is being Rick's right-hand man basically means sudden death or certain death. Like, if you love somebody or if you have like a lot of family members, like, you're going to die or someone else is.
And they've kind of fleshed out Daryl. I mean, they've shown his brother all the things. He's kind of gotten over his brother. He's kind of accepting a new life. And there's kind of not much where they can go from there. Yeah. Maybe the Carol relationship.
I see some chemistry in the show between Rick and Michonne.
Yeah.
You seeing that?
Yeah.
I'm wondering about that.
They're like build a little family.
He's taking us into that.
Well, Michonne's kind of taken like a motherish role for Carl recently because she's finally come to terms with the fact that Mike and Terry and Andre, they're gone. Like, they're dead. She's finally come to terms that she's, metabolizing it more. She's opening up, and, Carl's opening up more to her than he is to his father, so.
His father is biting people's throats.
I just had to see about that.
I'd probably go to someone else too. Not gonna lie.
How'd you feel about that when you went all?
I was so excited.
I had to wonder, because I started with the show, and then I went to the comics. I'm kind of enduring the comics because they're a lot more brutal in the show, and Rick's a lot more brutal. But in a scene like that, you do what you have to do, right?
The back.
This one?
Yes. And then.
Anyone else see a Michonne and Rick romance kind of going on?
We'll see what happens. So in the comic books, it's Rick and Andrea. They have their little relationship.
Yeah.
Andrea's not really around anymore.
Should be looking at fan letters, You had your hand up for a while, and then.
Are you talking about the back?
Yeah, far back.
Yeah, all the way back.
Do you guys foresee any crossover between the games and the comics? I would love to see Clementine.
That would be amazing, right? I don't know. I would love to see it. I really do.
See, I wouldn't.
You don't?
No, I like that they're separate storylines and like they're not crossing over and that like.
Well, in the video game, there are already characters from the show like Glenn and
Herschel,
things like that. But it's like I don't know if they're going to attempt to do it the other way. You always hope, but I can't imagine. Probably not.
I definitely like Michonne's handling of the governor better in the book than in the TV series.
I don't think there's a lot of on TV.
Not really, because what she did to him, but then what he did to her too.
Totally.
They actually, when they're kidnapped and taken to Woodbury, it's not Maggie, it's Michonne.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he, instead of almost like threatening to rape her the way he threatens Maggie, he repeatedly rapes Michonne.
But then she gets back.
Brutally. So she gets back at him. Really? Yeah, she takes things from him.
Megan, what are your thoughts of the new spin-off show they created for it?
I hope it's not true. What?
I just hope that it's something that doesn't refer to the first series. That's why I don't want to refer to the game, the comics, or anything.
If they do it, it has to be like a different continent.
Yeah.
Like it can't be the United States. It has to be something completely
Well, it could
different.
be just like the complete opposite.
Well, yeah,
Like
but
California.
I like
This is Japan.
Sorry.
I like that you know as much as the survivors do.
Yeah.
As far as they knew beforehand, if they crossed the Georgia state line, it was over, it's gone. Like, you know as much as they do, and I like that kind of, it almost draws you in more. Because you want to know these things, and they don't know them, so you want to follow them as they figure it out.
I'm also front with the spin-off show. Does that mean the current one is done? You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, there's a spin-off. We're not going to have viewership with two different shows. So it's canceled to go with the old one. So it's like frightening at the same time. But cool for new characters and new ideas.
Yeah. Talking about possible like romance type things, did anybody else catch the Daryl and Beth type ending? I was so excited. I was like, oh my gosh, we're on Smash right now.
I have mixed feelings about that.
But then it was like brother and sister, or he was like looking out for her. But then I'd be like, no, they want to hook up.
She's supposed to be 17.
It's an apocalypse. Are you
She is. She's like 28 years old.
Oh, no, I did that. Yeah, definitely. Come on. It's possible. It's all about the Daryl relationship.
So I started reading the comic books, but I haven't got too far into it. But I heard that Carl loses his eye.
Oh my god.
In season 4, like the second part of it, when he goes off on his own and goes to get the pudding, I thought for sure he's going to lose his eye because he has a stake in his hand and he's climbing up, and I'm like, that's what I get lucky.
Do you know how he loses it in the comic book? Or you just heard that he does?
His eyes, he blows half his face off.
Okay.
It's shot off.
I heard that he just lost it somehow, but I was like, I haven't got to that yet.
There's a big battle with zombies and stuff, and one of the leader of the group they're in, he gets taken down, fired randomly, basically. Hits Carl.
I can't remember what his name is.
I can't either.
I guess he must not be very important.
I want to know how many people who read the comic books, you know, before, like, around season 3 of The Walking Dead, you know, and the governor gets introduced, how many people were, like, really confused that he still had 2 eyes? Because isn't he already missing an eye when he's introduced into the comics?
No, he don't.
Is he? Oh, then I was lied to. Okay, sorry. Somebody told me that in the comics he never had a second eye, so I'm sorry.
He looks very different in the
comics.
He looks like Danny Trejo. He looks like Uncle Daddy. I'm not even
Skinny version.
Because they wanted him in the comics, they wanted you to look at him and go, wow, that is not a nice guy. It's not a nice guy. But in the show, they wanted you to see him progress into the psycho, crazy person. He wanted to look like the person next door.
Yeah, and like Herschel, I mean, he was keeping his family alive.
Wow.
To keep that passion. Some way.
Yeah.
I don't like what it is. I didn't like his cable stations much. But.
Yeah. Just to use it on.
No, guy that Abraham and Nelson, that thing?
Eugene?
Eugene.
He says he knows how and he knows how to fix it, but no one's asking him. He dies with that knowledge. But shouldn't that be told to every single person you come across so it doesn't just die with you? That's my
If they do everything, they could just feed him the Whopper and say, now we can get by quicker. Here, have this, we're gone.
Well, I think he wants to keep it quiet so they do keep him alive.
Yeah, right.
Once everybody knows he's useless, like, oh.
No, but that's a true scenario. You're going to tell more. You have to tell more than one.
I think they do in the comic book. Abraham says something like, well, if you just tell us. And he says that it's information that he needs to know. It's classified. He can't tell him.
Yeah, they address more in the comics. Andrea wants to go ahead and talk about that. She's going to shoot more. Andrea's coming.
So, here's what we got 5 minutes left. Okay? We put together a DVD tribute to The Walking Dead. And then, if you like, we'll be available in here, outside, or outside for pictures if you like. And if you want to continue the conversation, we can do that as well as, how many people know about our Facebook page, The Walking Dead Cosplay Z?
You should find us and hit the like button.
We have cards too, so you can hit us up.
Cards.
There you go. While he does this, any other questions, comments, ideas? Go ahead.
Okay, so they've done
is that's the first time they encounter a herd. So that's new to them. But we've already seen all of that.
That was exciting because they talk about these herds of 150